Amani Toomer on NBC Sports Radio, the 24/7 live sports talk network. You can hear it at NBCSportsRadio.com and download their mobile app at NBC Sports Radio today. Amani, we are 7 weeks in. We've got the Philadelphia Eagles at 6-1, atop of the NFC East and atop of the league. So, 7 weeks in, Amani, are the Eagles the most complete team in the league for your money?
I think they were until Jason Peters got hurt. And so as soon as he got hurt, that just reshuffles the deck. I'd like to see what they are moving forward. I think they're a good team now. Yeah, they're good. But without Peters, remember what happened last year when Lane Johnson went out?
Yep.
Their whole line fell apart, and they went on this little skid. So up to this point, and if Peters was still on, oh yeah, I would say they're the front runners for everything. But since he's out, and I think Peters is a bigger piece of that offensive line than Lane Johnson. I think their left tackle is more valuable than the right tackle. So yeah, I think that this is a team that's gonna, I don't know what they are, and that's what's great about the NFL. You could be 6-1, but you lose a key player, and you can go right back to the pack. So I'm not going to ready to crown the Philadelphia Eagles just yet. I think they have a lot of football left.
That's a good point, Amani, and I was going to follow up with that. With the injuries, you've been on teams before, obviously, that got hurt and had some major injuries. How do these teams overcome them? And I guess when they happen, that's the sign of which teams are good and which teams are not so good, whether or not they can overcome those injuries.
Yeah, I think it's overcoming the injuries is one thing, but how well does the coaching staff, how well does the play caller adjust? I mean, you almost kind of have to change the playbook because things you could do, you can't do anymore. And how much attached to your success are some of the plays that ask a lot of Peters on the left tackle? So being able to adjust your thinking and to maybe have a back go back there to chip and help the left tackle, or have Carson get rid of the ball a little bit quicker, or whatever. How are they going to be able to adjust schematically for the absence of their All-Pro?
Yeah, I want to get your take on this because Peterson, they mentioned to keep Lane Johnson. It sounds like they're going to keep him on the right side and keep Vaitai on the left side. And he said the reason is they'd rather not move two guys. They'd rather just make one change. Do you put your best guy at left tackle, or do you keep him where he has played so solidly? How would you handle that if, you guys are in the locker room looking around like, hey, man, we got Lane Johnson over here. Why aren't you putting him at left tackle? Or do you subscribe to keeping him where he's right now playing very well?
No, I'm thinking I put the best player I got, the best guard, the best tackle I have, put him at left tackle, because that's where I think they're just covering up because they don't think Lane Johnson's good enough, personally.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens at the injury spot for them. I want to get Amani Toomer's take on a couple of other things inside the NFC East. Don't forget Amani Toomer, NBC Sports Radio. Yesterday, Jerry Reese said he's the reason that the Giants are 1-6. You buying what he's selling?
I think so. I think that the team was built with a flaw, and the flaw was their offensive line. And as that got exposed, everything started to fall apart. Football is, it's an easy game. It's blocking and tackling. And they even say in that saying, blocking is the first thing that you have to do before anything. And the fact that the Giants can't block and can't keep a pocket passer with a clean pocket, it just makes everything that they have with all their weapons, or had during the beginning of the season with all their weapons, it makes them null and void. Their offensive line was an issue. They didn't address it. They didn't go out in free agency and get a bona fide left tackle. They didn't make sure up that line, and this is what they get. Their offense is bad. Their offense is so bad that it's hurting their defense, and it becomes a snowball effect.
We'll go over to the Redskins. They lost, obviously, on Monday night to Philadelphia. What are they lacking? Because a lot of people thought that was a dangerous team, and I don't want to say they looked ordinary, but that wasn't a team that you saw Monday night that you looked like a deep playoff run team. So what's Washington lacking?
I think they're lacking a big playmaker at the wideout. I mean, I think Terrell Pryor is a guy that they expected more from, and I think that they need a big play threat. I think Jordan Reed is a very good option, but I just think that if they had a big play option, it would just open that entire offense up, and I don't think they're getting it from Terrell Pryor at a consistent basis that they need, to where defenses, their first and foremost thing they want to stop is their wideout, is their X receiver, and try to double him and that opens up the running game as well. So, most teams need a dominant receiver out there that teams are scared of, just to open up running lanes, and I don't think they have that. I think Kirk Cousins is a fine quarterback, but I think if things don't go well, I don't know if he's the guy that can. I don't think that he's the guy that can do a lot with a little talent. I don't think he's the Tom Brady type of making everybody else around him better. I think he's a quarterback that if he has talent, he can utilize it. But I don't think he's a difference maker in that sense. But not saying he's a bad quarterback. I'm just saying that's where I think his limitations are. And with their injuries at the offensive line this past week, I don't think they're not going to be long-term ones. But I think that they need to get healthy, and I think they need their wide receiver to be able to make big plays consistently.
Yeah, that's something that they seemed like they were lacking. Amani Toomer's with us. Let's look at Dallas. They win 40-10 on the road. I know San Francisco's 0-7, but are the Cowboys ready to kind of take off and be closer to the team they were last season?
I never gave credit for bullies that beat up on the weak kids. And I'm not going to give credit for the Cowboys beating the San Francisco 49ers. I just can't do it. You're talking about an 0-6 team and they beat them up? Wow, great. I just think these Cowboys fans and Cowboys supporters are just over the moon over this win, and I'm still trying to figure out why. I mean, they're a terrible team in San Francisco. No, you haven't done anything that every other team hasn't done to them in terms of beat them, whether it's by 1 point or by 40 points. It really doesn't matter. Just all wins count only as one. And I'm just kind of trying to figure out why all these Cowboy fans are so, all of a sudden you see a lot of more Dallas stars around because everybody is happy they beat the 49ers. 49ers stink, if you didn't know.
We'll see them this week in Philadelphia. You can listen to that game right here on 97.3 ESPN, Eagles and Niners, and we'll see if the Eagles can continue their winning ways. Amani Toomer, NBC Sports Radio, and, of course, you can download the NBC Sports mobile app today. Check them out at NBCSportsRadio.com as we look inside the NFC East with Amani Toomer here. Season is flying halfway through. Week number 8 on the horizon. Amani, we'll do it again soon. Thanks, pal.
Hey, thanks for having me, Mike.